How to reprogram your mind to get rich in wholesaling real estate. What is up, guys? Zach in here.
Rick in here.
And in today's video, we're going to show you exactly the hacks, really the mindset things you can shift and really literally reprogram your mind to become a better wholesaler and in life just live a happier and a richer life so you can make more money in wholesaling real estate and just do a lot better. Charlie Munger and Dwight Schrute both have the same philosophy in life when it comes to business and life in general.
Oh, yeah.
And Charlie Munger does the thing called inverse thinking, which is basically a fancy term in psychology of think of what somebody who's bad does and then do the opposite of it, right? It's sort of like George Costanza when he was told just to do the opposite of everything he does and his life became amazing. And really, you know, Dwight Schrute says this all the time, but it's like, think of what an idiot would do and then don't do what they do. And that's a great way to look at life, especially for wholesaling real estate, but not in that context. The context that we like to look at it is, hey, we've trained hundreds of thousands of wholesalers, and every single day we get so many people sending us their first, second, third, fourth deal, thanking us, people making hundreds of thousands of dollars from our freewholesaling.com course, and they just do very well. And then for everyone that's super successful, right, there's another person saying, oh, I don't have the time for wholesaling. Wholesaling is not the right thing for me. Oh, I can't, I just don't have enough time. This isn't the perfect time. Real estate's crashing. It's illegal. All these excuses. There's always the person not becoming successful. And the truth is, I want to break down exactly what unsuccessful people do and how successful people do the opposite of that for you to become successful. Because if you're making any of these pitfalls that a lot of people that aren't becoming successful in wholesaling real estate are doing, you can actually reprogram your mind in this video on actually how to become successful and think like it, right? As a man thinketh, he becomes.
So many times when you're going along your wholesaling venture and you're used to either your 9 to 5 or like you're just fresh out of school, is you want to do what everybody else does. And if you've decided that's not the route for you, you're going to do pretty much the opposite of what 95% of everybody else does in the world. It feels odd and it feels like you're swimming upstream. And today's topic's all to talk about on how to embrace it, how to attack it, and how to do the opposite of what everybody else does. Because if you're going to desire a different result, you're going to have to do the opposite of what everybody else does.
Exactly. So let's kind of break down the first thing. The first thing I see from a lot of people that just don't become successful in wholesaling, this is our biggest pet peeve, and this is one that's really important, but this is excuses. I see so many wholesalers come up and make excuses of why they're not successful, right? Oh, it's not the perfect time. My grandma said it's illegal. It's a scam. I don't want to work that hard for it. I don't want it that bad. Oh, it's so hard. Wholesaling's the worst. Hey guys, I hope you know that excuses will be the number one destroyer of your success in wholesaling real estate. The person that makes excuses in life in general will probably not live as good of a life as somebody that takes personal responsibility and takes action for what they do. Same thing in wholesaling real estate. Number one thing I did 500 cold calls, didn't get a deal. Here's the thing, I can't give you sympathy points here. You have to just keep going till you get the deal, right? It's never 100% chance you're going to get a deal every single marketing campaign you do. But if you don't become successful, you just got to keep going. There's no cost involved. It's only your time, and you got to keep going, guys. People that aren't successful in wholesaling real estate and the people that quote unquote quit, they actually made that subconscious decision in their brain to give up. The people that become successful, they were failures until the point where they get that first deal. It's just part of the journey to become successful, because if you look at Michael Jordan being cut from his basketball team in high school, he was a failure up to that point. And if he quit basketball, he would be a failure his entire life. But that was just part of his journey. Like that was just one little subsection of the most amazing basketball career of all time.
Yeah. So the point of this discussion right here is excuses are made by you to rationalize why you can't do something. And then once you accept your excuse, you try to sell it to everybody around you. The one fact I learned and what differentiated me in the long run is once you lose your excuses, successful people don't use excuses. They just look to find solutions, take more action, and to fail forward much faster. So if you ever find a successful person, you will not hear the excuses. And if you know that's fact, then if you are using excuses right now, number one, identify it. And number two, get rid of it and replace it with action steps that will get you closer to your goals.
Yeah. So just reprogram your mind. Hey, you think about quitting or, stopping something, reprogram your mind. Hey, we don't make excuses anymore. This is not who I am. And once you start thinking like that, a lot of things start changing in your mind. It's I must get this deal, not if I get this deal, maybe it wasn't because of this or that. You got to keep going. Number 2, this is a huge one I see. A lot of wholesalers that are not becoming successful, somebody that is poor in wholesaling, they do this thing where I see a lot of beginners do this. And this was a thing that actually took me about a year to really fully understand, but this is psyching yourself out. A lot of wholesalers will come up before they negotiate with the seller and say, you know what, I think the least the seller's going to take is 100,000, so that's what I'm going to offer them. And you start psyching yourself out like, you know what, this person thinks I'm ugly, or this person thinks I'm not legit, or this person thinks I'm too young. And you start psyching yourself out, and it destroys your confidence. And a lot of people think how much the seller wants to sell their house for. They think why they're motivated. You do not understand someone else's brain. A lot of beginners out here try to get in someone's head and think what they're thinking and guess from that point. That's not it. You only know by asking. You cannot guess somebody's information. And this leads to a lot of bad confidence and not a lot of deals.
Yeah. So this phenomenon right here, thinking what your seller is going to sell their house for, most of you start going to the worst case scenario from start one. You go to what you call our MAO, maximum allowable offer. And that's the wrong thinking. You have no idea what's going on in their brain. Understand that you have to do an exploratory offer, which we teach you the lowball method, because you have no idea what their bottom line number. And as soon as you decide in your head what their number is, it's going to affect how you make an offer. So you need to find out what their bottom line number is by going in with a low offer without having a predetermined valuation of what you think they're going to take for your offer. If you will eliminate what you think they're going to take and start exploring what's the least amount they'll take, it will change your whole trajectory in wholesaling real estate.
Number 3 here, and this is a big one, but this is thinking, you know what, if something is working for me, I should probably stop doing this, and I should probably do the other thing that this other person just did. And this happens a lot. You know, people are getting some momentum in wholesaling real estate. You know, they're making a lot of money from just cold calling probates, right? And they see this new person come up with the new special method, right? They'll put an animal, call it the horse method, and it's a super crazy niched out marketing thing so a guru can make money off of you. And they like, you know what, I'm doing really good with what I'm doing now, but I should just do something that's completely uncharted territory in my own business, and that's what I should do. And that's where a lot of wholesalers who get a little bit of momentum, maybe a deal or two, it just fails, because then they start going to the next part, right? And this is another big problem I see in wholesaling real estate, where a lot of beginner wholesalers, they keep trying every different thing. Like they will spread themselves so thin where they'll SMS, cold call, reverse drive for dollars, a million different lists just to think that they're doing all these different things, when really, if you specialize hard on one thing, you'll do well. A jack of all trades is a master of nothing. And I think this is a huge part. So I tell most wholesalers, stick to 1 or 2, 3 marketing channels and just hone in on that list and that marketing channel well, and you'll do well.
Yeah. So I learned this lesson a long time ago in fishing, is if I'm in one spot fishing and I'm catching a lot of fish, and maybe I hear some chatter on the radio, hey, there's some fish over on this side of the lake or the other side, and you leave for something you think's better, and then for the next 3-4 hours you strike out, only to find out if you just stuck with your same original technique, your same fishing hole, if it's driving for dollars, if it's reverse driving for dollars, or just hammering around your government list. Guys, if you are struggling getting deals and you've done something different, go back to what works. We teach the basics of wholesaling real estate. You have to understand that. Don't buy into the shiny object syndrome, because a lot of times you're getting advice from unproven people that you have no idea if they've had success doing it. Stick with what works, and it won't steer you wrong with wholesaling real estate. And don't try too many things at once.
And I tell this a lot, but like if you go to a gym and there's 200 different type of machines to work out, is it better to do 1 rep on every machine or 3 machines, like 40 reps each, right?
I agree.
It's just trying to master everything and do everything all at once. It will drive you crazy. Talk about the top bodybuilders of all time. They had specific days where they'd go after only one specific body part, right? That's the same thing you have to do wholesaling real estate. Number 4, this is a huge problem I see, and this is a problem with most beginners out here. Y'all are way too trusting of people on the internet, and I'm saying that humbly. Like, first of all, when you're watching this, don't trust me, don't trust him just starting it. This is the first time you've ever seen us. Don't trust us. Think we're out to get you, think we're out to sell you a course, think all these bad things with every single person, and then have that person earn your trust. I see so many, even my competition, they'll listen to a broke wholesaling guru who has literally done 0 deals in the past 2 years, 0 deals. They only do coaching now, and they're using their script that worked like 7 years ago, and it has not been proven at all. What do you think your results are going to get? If you listen to a broke guru on how to do cold calling and you expect to get rich from the broke guru script, if you expect a guru script, you're going to get guru results, and gurus equal broke. What I can tell you is only learn from people that are actually legitimately in this business, that actually do this business for real, and people that are learning from their information and it's actually doing well. So that's why I always ask everyone, like, don't talk to me. Go in the comments on our live streams and ask, hey, hey, does anybody ever get a deal from whatever Zach said? Promise you, you'll find them.
Yeah. And so really with social media these days, you have no idea what people are actually capable of doing, and you should not take people's word for it. So when you guys comment, I heard or somebody said, you have to unvalidate that, because there is nothing to refer to other than opinion. Remember, anybody on a keyboard can type anything. It doesn't mean they've been wholesaling. So just because you read it on the internet doesn't make it true. Just because somebody sells a course doesn't make it true. Find people that have longevity in the business and actually do wholesaling and show you verifiable results and are active today. Then those are people that you can decide to follow their advice. But please don't take random people's posts, because a lot of you are confusing it with validation. You need validation from people who actually do the business. You don't need some fly-by-night wholesaler's opinion when they're a broke wholesaler and they've never made it work.
Just go to freewholesaling.com. On the front page is just people getting checks. And I haven't updated them lately, but it's a lot of people. It's the number one course by the amount of people doing well from it. So actions speak louder than words there. Next problem I see, beginner wholesalers go out here and they trust every cash buyer. The worst thing I've seen. Oh, you're a cash buyer? Put you on my list. Here's my property. And then you get the deal stolen from you. I hate to say this, and I love the wholesaling community, but it's a lot of these gurus out here that tell you to pretend to be a fake buyer and give you a fake proof of funds, which is very easy to detect if you go to freewholesaling.com and see, because if the person's name is actually not on the bank account, it's a guru's name, it's not good. If it's a hard money loan, that's not a cash buyer, right? It's a line of credit, it's not legit. But a lot of these fake buyers out here, they'll say they're a cash buyer. Oh, they got the chains, they got the whip, they got the sick watch, they got the boat, they're balling on the internet, but really they have no money in their bank account. And oh, you don't even have proof of funds. Look at me, I got a Rolex. See, you can trust me. Guys, this is how you get screwed out of the deal. You ruin your reputation with the seller. You lose out on the deal. You lose money and you destroy the seller's process of trying to get rid of the home. It's not good to do. Verify your cash buyers like you verify information from the internet. Don't trust it till you see it's actually legit. Same thing with the cash buyer. Unless your physical name is on that bank account, I cannot trust it.
So make sure you guys vet your buyers. So this is not a numbers game of volume. So someone tell me I got 500 cash buyers, probably 480 of them are other wholesalers just piggybacking off your list. So how do you prevent that? Go over to freewholesaling.com. We teach you step-by-step how to vet and get real cash buyers so you can get your deals sold.
And the last part is just one quote, right? I'm different. You don't know what you're talking about. This is the biggest problem I've seen. And this is a two-pronged thing I can say. And let me explain this. So there's these subsect of wholesalers out here that have these crazy big egos. And I'm saying this in the nicest way possible. They have egos that can't even fit through the door at my house, okay? And I got some pretty wide doors. They will literally come up and say, you know what? I know Zach keeps saying that it takes some work to get a wholesaling deal, but you know what? I'm different. They don't understand me. I'm this baller. I'm the greatest salesperson in the world. I can get a deal in under a week because I'm just the best ever. And you go in with the expectations you're going to make $100K your first month wholesaling because you're that guy. And I can promise you, you are not that guy. I was not that guy. You are not that guy. You have to be a seriously problemed individual to think you can walk into something that takes years to master the craft and think you can become an expert overnight. Even the people that are gifted at the greatest, hardest, most difficult things in the world, they do not become experts in under a month, right? It takes time and dedication to get really good at a craft. And if you think you are different in wholesaling real estate and you do not have to put in the work, you will be grossly mistaken. There's not one basketball player in the NBA that only had 1 month of experience and they're ready to go to be a starter. Not one, because it's a craft and it takes a lot of work. But once you're able to get that work, you get riches beyond whatever you can imagine.
So you have to be open to learning. So if you're brand new to wholesaling real estate, you should be excited, you should be energized. But the key to really grasping wholesaling, you ready? Here's the ultimate key is you've got to leave your ego at the door, because your ego is not going to serve you when you're trying to learn something new. Because if you always want to be right and you want to justify why you're the biggest and the baddest, I can't teach you, Zach can't teach you, this business will teach you the hard way. The people that leave their ego at the door at any level in wholesaling real estate always do the best. I find that people that can learn to check their egos, they absorb the information, they take the most amount of action, and at the end, they have the most amount of success.
And the second part here is, this is my favorite, right? And this is the problem I always have. This is what I do figuratively, right? I say, okay, here's a baseball bat. Do not break your own leg with it. And guess what they do? They break their own leg with the baseball bat. And then they come up to me and say, Zach, I broke my leg. What do I do? I'm like, why did you break your leg with a baseball bat? Well, I think you were wrong, and I didn't think a baseball bat could really break my leg. This is what literally the conversations I have. Because I tell people, hey, use my script. If you go off kilter with the script, you're going to pretend like you know things you don't know, and you're going to make things advance and you're going to fail. Guess what happens? Oh, I've been cold calling and I've been using your lists and your lists suck. You don't know what you're talking about, Zach. I'm like, okay, let me see the list. Oh, okay, good list. What about your script? Oh, actually, I used your script, but I fine-tuned it to sound more like a salesperson. I'm using the Jordan Belfort system for it. I'm like, what do you think is going to happen when you act like you're selling stocks with somebody for wholesaling real estate? Your results are going to be completely destroyed. Can you imagine right now, Mr. Seller, if I can buy your house from you right now and you can get rid of it and you can feel it, getting the cash in your hand? Say yes right now. Like, I've literally had people do stuff, crazy stuff like that. Those stupid little gimmicky sales training scripts don't work. And this business is not a selling business. We are not selling something, okay? We are not having our sellers buy anything from this. We are casually just trying to buy a property for cash. And when you go away from that, your results go downhill. The best wholesalers, the people making millions of dollars every single year, they keep their process super stupid simple. That's how they make a lot of money.
So basically what Zach's saying is stop taking the information we teach you 100% for free and stop trying to adapt it to your personality or your selling style, because the reality is you're in wholesaling because you want to make a change. And if you keep following your old broken system, you're going to have to do the opposite. So stop changing it. Just take the action, simplify it, and locate motivated sellers and get them under contract.
There's a reason why we give you the questions to ask certain sellers and cash buyers, the certain questions, because if you don't ask those right questions, you're not going to do very well. I get people that they take our contract and say, you know what? I used the other guy's contract and now the cash buyer screwed me. And I didn't like your contract because my cash buyer didn't like that they had to leave a non-refundable deposit. I'm like, they didn't like it because they were trying to screw you out of the deal. We tell you a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two in this business and we know exactly the right questions to ask so you don't get screwed in this business. You actually do a lot of good deals, and so you don't waste your time with bad sellers. I'm telling you, this is the biggest problem I get. People take the information and they think, Zach's wrong with this. I know he's done over 1,000 deals. I know Rick did over 3,000 deals, but I think I know it better than him. Promise you, that is not the way to do it. When Gordon Ramsay tells me how to make food, I know for a fact he probably knows it better than me, so I'm going to follow his exact recipe. Wholesaling real estate is a recipe. And if you got a 5-star Michelin chef giving you a recipe, you adding extra paprika or salt or vinegar in it, it's going to destroy it. And that's the way you got to look at wholesaling real estate. It's a recipe. Follow it. Learn the recipe at freewholesaling.com and you'll be on your way to success.
So guys, just to sum it up is you're going to have to do the opposite of what got you to this point. So if you've worked a 9-to-5 job or you went to school and you want to really get financial freedom, you decided that's not the route, you're going to have to do things differently. So the simplest thing I can tell you is go over to freewholesaling.com, take the information, don't try to filter it, change it, and adapt it to your personality. Just do it. And if you put in the action and the time, you will change the trajectory of your wholesaling real estate business and you will get what you want, financial freedom and freedom of your own time, but you've got to do opposite of what you've done before.
Exactly. So if you actually want to get some personalized training on wholesaling real estate, I do free one-on-one coaching calls, me and him on our live streams. We literally do it 4 or 5 days a week. Just go to freewholesaling.com. We'll show you the instructions how to do it and you get to talk to us absolutely for free. But if you got any value from this video, do me a big favor. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, go to freewholesaling.com, and we'll see you soon. This is Zach Ginn signing out.
Rick Ginn signing out.
Have a blessed one.